Hello. Hello, everyone. Let's get that a little bit bigger so y'all can look at that instead. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. We've got day 9 today. I feel like I'm like right up on Instagram right now. Let's get y'all a little bit going here. All right. Let's let some people come in on this day 9. Just letting the notices go out, making sure that everyone has a chance to jump in here. And while I'm at it, let me see if I can. Come on in, everybody. Let me make sure I got this still live. I don't want to do that again. Come on in. Oh, headphones would be good. Come on in. Check out the beautiful stone. We have Septarian. And there's a lot of information coming through today. Yesterday was a marathon. Thank you for those of you who still stuck with it. Stuck with it. That was quite the download, to say the least. We got more coming in today. That's all I will say. So come on in. If you are on Facebook, just to get some little housekeeping items out of the way, if you are on Facebook, if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, it will allow me to see your comments so I can see what you're typing out to me. I'm on a particular platform that is kind of merging all these things together for me. Kind of move a little bit this way here because I feel like I'm looking sideways on Facebook. So yeah, if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, I can see your comments. YouTube, if you comment on YouTube, I will be able to see it. Just to kind of let everyone know, as far as Instagram's concerned, we've got a lot of limitations on there, so I can't actually show you. I've got some pictures that I'm showing on the other formats, the other platforms. I've got some photos, I've got some website links and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to see those live, you can go to YouTube. In my bio, I've got the links to get onto YouTube, or Facebook also has this information. It's coming through. If you want to stay on Instagram, no worries. I'm actually going to take these downloads from YouTube and /Facebook, consolidate them down to hour increments, and then install them on Livestream Mission on my IGTV for Livestream Mission. So I will have it there. It's just a little bit of a delay before I migrate it over. So if you're looking to see this information live, I would go to YouTube or Facebook. Again, all the links are in my bio. So let's get to it. How we got going here. We got some people on YouTube and Facebook I've got up. We're good. All right. Thank you all for coming. I am Lisa Sadowski. I am the founder of Livestream Mission, which is basically I assist women with getting past the fear of recurrence and living a life of freedom from recurrence, freedom from fear, and living a life of deep inner peace. The first mission was to survive. The re-mission is to thrive. So basically, I'm here to assist those who are interested in living a thriving lifestyle, and specifically getting past this deep-rooted concept of living in fear, and breaking through some powerful barriers. So to get you to that place. So that's who I am. You will notice as I'm going through this, I focus on self-empowerment. I'm basically a self-empowerment coach. So I am a preacher of sovereignty, meaning your sovereignty. I am not here to be your guru. I am not here to offer these crystals for you to worship. These are simpler reminders as am I a reminder of the perfection that is within you. I simply am here to tap you into the truth of who you are and that perfect, whole, and complete state that you always have access to. And really, here on Earth, that is all of our purposes. We're here to reflect upon each other. Ideally, this deep-rooted truth of who we are. So today we are going to talk about, tonight I should say, for some of you it may be the daytime, we are talking about Septarian. So any of you who have worked with this stone know that it is a beautiful and powerful stone. It is actually a combination of stones. Septarian by nature actually refers to the concept that it has multiple stones in one. So I'm going to go into that a little bit more, but just to give you a rundown of what we're doing today, I'm going to talk a little bit about Septarian and give you a little bit of information that is basically out there on the internet. You can pretty much find it for the most part, to just catch up those of you who are not familiar. I try to drop in some information that maybe typically a lot of people don't know about. So I'll do that as well. And then we're going to go into what Spirit has brought through for me to do, is to talk about each stone through the concept of higher, deeper, wider. Go deeper into what it is that these stones are here to represent, what this particular stone is representing now, in this now moment, in this now time frame, which is really eternal because there is no time. And then, yeah, going higher, deeper, wider. And we have a couple, this is what happened yesterday. We got a couple of messages that came through. So I will be talking about this concept of dragon energy. What is it? This stone, Septarian, is actually referred to as the dragon stone. Now, there's actually two stones that they call dragon stone. There's the dragon blood jasper, which is a red and green, so more like a Christmassy looking stone, that they call dragon stone. And then this one, this is kind of considered the egg of, it's because it, I'll show you something that represents that represents that egg concept. And then the dragon's blood jasper is more supposedly referencing dragon's blood. These are all just names and ways for us to connect to these difference of energies. But just to be clear, when I'm talking about the dragon stone that I'm talking about today is called Septarian. It is one of my favorites. It's basically the one that opened up. Yesterday we did labradorite. Labradorite was one that I believe pretty much opened up my third eye in a really heightened awareness. For those who don't understand that, it would just give me, it was assisting in me to tap into a deeper awareness that I never knew I really had. So that was a special stone. And then Septarian was kind of next in line, tapping me into some of the more deeper rooted, earthy, even shamanic aspects. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well. Understand when I use these terms, I kind of give this little caveat at the beginning here that I am not looking to align you with any new religion, any particular religion. I'm here simply to discuss the commonalities and the things that we have in common, and to specifically for these 21 days, relay forth what it is that these crystals can offer us. They are, like I mentioned before, literally representations of that which already exists within us. So if we choose to connect with them, it's a beautiful experience. And so I'm just kind of assisting you to do that should you choose to. I will say that if you are here and you've been enjoying this beautiful journey, obviously there's been a calling for you to connect with them. So that was the intention here, to get the information out to those who it was for, and understand that every single day, every transmission that we're doing here, live streaming, if you will, channeling this information through, that as long as the people who are here are open to that, understand that it's transmitted through the highest love and light of a filter of such, and that if you do not understand some of these concepts, or if you actually do and have a preset notion of what those things are, I would ask, or maybe just offer, that you are open to the possibility that there might be something here that could expand that awareness, whether you know everything about them or you know nothing. And if you have that purity of intention of gaining that information and even integrating it, know that it is here. Know that whether you watch it in real time or in the next now moment or in a year from now, you will receive that transmission from an energetic standpoint. So we're here just transmitting over love, light, and a beautiful wisdom that these stones actually have access to. The historical look at these, if you're not familiar with the concept of tuning into crystals, think of the concept of, I always use the analogy of Moses inscribing on stone, or our ancestors who were inscribing on the cave walls that we still have access to right now, that we can tap into. All of these instances were examples by different religious teachings that they displayed, that they discovered that it was, or believe, I should say, there's a belief system. This information was divinely guided to be imprinted upon these stones, whether it be physically or actually energetically. So understand that the wisdom that we're talking about precedes even human flesh being created, right? And all of the avatars, archetypes, ascended masters, any of these that you refer to, that you study, that you practice, learn their teachings, that these crystals were here before them. And actually these avatars, these ascended masters, actually used these crystals and energetically imprinted templates into them as well. So we're here to tap into that higher guidance. And also that these crystals are evolving as the earth is. This earth is a living, breathing, literally living, breathing energy. And so are these stones. And as all of this is doing an upgrade, we can kind of tap into the reality that even though we use the word upgrade, understand that this wisdom, whether it is futuristic by nature or something referring to the past, some of these stones tap you more into past experience, others kind of shoot you forward into the future, that this information has always been here. So when we talk about upgrades, when I talk about the earth evolving and we're expanding, from a human perspective, we were not prepared to actually integrate some of these truths yet. So they weren't necessarily revealed to us at a global, at a collective standpoint. So it is time for more of this information to be revealed, but know that it has always been there. I'm not doing any special magic that's creating this wisdom to be created. I am not originating any of this. I am tapping into that access, this wisdom, and translating it, if you will, into a more understandable language and dialect, whatever you want to call it. And so that we can embody these teachings, we can embody this wisdom, which is how we evolve as a culture, how we evolve at a collective level. And right now, we're at the precipice of a major expansion collectively. And so these crystals are here to do this. Like I mentioned, there are many avatars and archetypes that assist along the way. I tune into many of them. And when I bring the crystals forward, they automatically come to attention and are ready to assist. So understand that I have the highest light beings that I speak with, but I am, all of this is directed directly through source. So this is what we're here to interpret right now, is to deepen our connection with source, whether you call it God, Yeshua, Jesus, Muhammad, whatever it is that you call it. That connection, I'm here to assist you with strengthening it, for that is the connection that we are here to expand upon. That's our job. That's why we're here. So I'm here to be of service in that manner, and honored to be chosen to do this. I did not choose to do this. I was instructed, maybe pushed a little bit into this 21 days of crystal heartenings. Even the time of day, I was disputing. I was like, is there any way we could do it earlier so that I have my evenings for these 21 days during the holidays? And Spirit was like, nope, we're 7 o'clock every night, Pacific time. is the time that we're going to do it. I was let off the hook for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. We will be doing those broadcasts at 11 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time. But all other days, 7 p.m. at night. And so I'm here for you. So anyway, so let's get started. Let's see. Septarian, the dragon stone. I won't get into that part yet, but it is basically, to me, the representation of a fierce energy. And I'm going to talk about fierce concept of being of fierce, what that kind of means. But is fiercely protective stone. This is a very beautifully protective stone. And it's able to instill a sense of confidence because it's tapping us into that feeling of protection. It's tapping us into that sovereignty that we already are, and reminding us that all is well always, and that the universe, that source, that God has our back all the time, and that everything is unfolding for our greater good. When we integrate just that simple truth, if there's anything you get from these 29 days, is a true understanding that we are here to basically tap into that sovereign being that we are, and know that the universe is always here and always has our back. This is where we get this beautiful case of this beautiful experience of confidence, a true confidence, not an egoic, braggalicious, kind of experience. This is just a deep knowingness and a rooted understanding that God is for us, that spirit is for us, that source is always for us. And it's easy in this societal experience for us to forget that. So again, all of these things are here as a reminder to bring us to that truth. The literal definition of, or what this stone is, here's the one in the picture that I've got there for the Instagram peeps. There's actually, I think it's, I can almost see, yeah, it's right there. There's a little beautiful flash that likes to come through, and it may not be revealing itself, but you can see it in the picture. I'm going to show you a closer up. If you see this this little beautiful, I don't know if it's showing, you can see my marker, but there's like a rainbow look at the bottom right half of it right here. Let me see if that's actually showing for you all. My live here. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm getting everything set up. It's not wanting to come up for me. Okay, so this gorgeous little input, this beautiful little rainbow is somewhere around here, but it's not wanting to kind of flash in right now. So I'll show you all that too. You can get it, but look at how gorgeous it is. What it has in it is it's got calcite. Aragonite is this dark brown, the darker brown that's around it. And there could actually be some calcite around that as well, kind of like a little bit of calcite. And also, it's calcite, aragonite, what's the other one? Oh, chalcedony, however you say it. And dolomite. So those are kind of the key elements of this stone. So for some of you, if you are researching it under crystals or anything like that, it may not actually come up, because this is not even in some books because of the specific. It's kind of like you can look each individual stone up, but it is a very particular existence. So this is kind of more like a nodule, they would call it. And then this right here, though, is why it got its name to a certain extent. Look at this. This is an egg, and this is naturally formed. This is how it kind of forms like this. Look at all the crackles and stuff in that. That is a natural, it's a sedimentary experience. So this one, notice, has more of the aragonite and the limestone / dolomite, which is kind of the limestone around here. There's a little bit of either dolomite or calcite inside there, and I have a picture I'll show you. Show you guys. Look at this. Look at that. So this is more the darker aspect of the stone, right? This has got more of the yellow calcite in it, and this has got a little bit more of the other, but it's still got some beautiful sparkle. And so this is heavy is what it is. This is beautiful. So what happens is this crackling that you see back here. This is a sediment. The limestone / dolomite, all that stuff. The mud kind of forms at the bottom of the sea. So this has definitely got some water energy in it. Actually, it has all the elements. I'm going to talk about that too. So the cracking that you see back there is when the water kind of creeps through there and some of the elements literally crack through and recreate crystals. And like druzy in here, you're seeing like a druzy of that looks like aragonite being formed in there, that darkness. So it's interesting because none of the elements of the stone were on this list. I think I shared with you before that, make sure it stands on its own there, that these stones kind of came through me in a particular order. And I had no understanding as to what was going to happen. I did know, I did get the guidance, however, though, that there was a particular order for this to be integrated in with us. There was a flow that's going on here. So for those of you who are just joining today, it's okay if you have not seen the other days. You can choose to either go live with everyone to experience the live experience, and if you want to send in comments or anything. But also, if you choose not to, that's okay as well. I would just say try and take it in the order if you're going to go back. Again, the replays are on the Life's Remission page on on Facebook, and they're going to be on the Life's Remission page on Instagram. This actual broadcast that I'm putting here on YouTube and Facebook. And then YouTube already has them. So right now it's live on YouTube with all this information, and also the replays are available there. So as far as a more complete, like a complete list, a complete videos that are available to you now, YouTube's probably your best bet. I would appreciate a subscribe on YouTube anyway. It's a new channel that I've been getting set up. So it assists me when I have a lot of subscriptions on there. So it's all pretty new right there on YouTube. So anywho, so that is this beautiful idea of it. And I just wanted to show you. So this one isn't as flashy as this one, right? This is the first one I got. It's still got those elements, the calcite. It's got the kind of, you can see that back with aragonite. Not as fancy, not as shiny, not as, you know, nothing really exciting about it. But this was the first Septarian that I had. And my experience was just ridiculously magical with this the first time I used it. And so I just want to offer again that while it's nice to have these gorgeous stones and the beautiful ideas of it, something as simple as a picture, that is why it's really important that I'm showing these pictures and showing you the stones. There are codes that are here to be transmitted to you simply by looking at them, tuning into this transmission, tuning into this broadcast. So this is how powerful they are. Again, these are simply energetic reminders of that which exists within us. So you don't need to physically hold it. You don't need to have the most highest quality stone out there in order to receive the transmission. Just know that it is a template for you to tap into and another resource at your beck and call. So this one wants to stay in my hand right now. I also have a little heart. I don't know if it really shows much different patterning, but again, you see the calcite, the aragonite, some of the dolomite, or the, well, this is probably more of the, in the limestone stage, which limestone, dolomite, same family, just different aspects. I think limestone is a calcium carbonate. Getting technical with you, I see. Limestone is calcium carbonate, contains a lot of goodies in it. But the dolomite is a calcium, it's got magnesium. So calcium, magnesium carbonate. Both limestone, because you've probably seen it, limestone white. This is a darker color, but limestone is also in white. But it's basically the mud, the sediment, you know, settling in and creating these secretions. So what's beautiful about it is it's got so many different aspects. That's what's interesting. This has a druzy right in here where you can actually see into it a little bit. Not really that deep into it, but it's there. So there's just so many fascinating things about this stone. I'll show you that druzy right there, little hole. You can tell that it's in there. Peek into it. Okay. So the dragon stone, what does it do? So basically it, from a mental perspective, it incites patience, tolerance, and endurance. We could get in this state because of this protected nature that it instills. So it kind of makes you feel fiercely protected, right? So it gives you a little bit more kind of backup, and you feel like you can tolerate a little bit more, have a little bit more endurance, and be a little bit more patient. It increases the cohesiveness of any spiritual group. So for those of you who are working in spiritual groups, you know that there's a lot of energies that come and go. We're exchanging a lot of energetic firepower, if you will, right? So it's excellent to kind of get the group into cohesion, to get them more productive, and to actually have a more flow of an environment for the groups. And it assists in group discussions. If you're trying to get to resolution, our Congress and government could sure use a big piece of Septarian right now. People just go show up with a big old Septarian egg or something, like, here, now talk and see what happens. Anyway, so it does help with group discussions, though. And I have actually witnessed this. If I'm in a situation where I'm going to have discussions that are going to be a little bit heavy, or I know are going to bring about a little bit of friction, I'll carry one in my pocket, or just hold it in my hand. It doesn't need to be flashy. Nobody needs to know you have it, or they can. It's up to you. Speakers. It actually enhances communication by making each and everyone in the audience actually feel like they're individually being addressed. So this is powerful. As anybody of you know, from a marketing perspective, we want to be aware of our demographic, and we're communicating directly with them. So Septarian can actually assist when we're in this speaking role to connect directly with each individual and actually have information streamed to them as if it was meant for them. This is really powerful, and this is, to me, the type of connection that I look to create just in my personal relationships. So this really assists with that as well. What else we got here? It actually concretes creativity. Concretizes, I'm using fancy words today, y'all. Concretizes creativity. What does that mean? How many of you have had these flashes of amazing ideas, and it sounds like a really great concept, and then we forget about it, or we don't do anything about it, or we don't know what we're supposed to do with it? Septarian is excellent for allowing this information to settle into the places that it needs to settle into and crystallize, manifest into a beautiful expression of what it was here to do. So that's more from a mental standpoint, what this can do for you. From an emotional standpoint, it's more of a nourishing, calming energy, which is really unique about this stone, because it still has the fiery protective energy, but still allows you to sit in that calmness and give you the feeling of like being held. It's just such a lovely stone. It also kind of incites self-nurturing. A lot of times when we are getting this information, we forget to actually take care of ourselves, or we're feeling like things are so frantic, there's no time to take care of ourselves. So when we go back to that concept of patience, of tolerance, of endurance, this actually also assists in helping us to tap into that self-care. And we all know that it's super important, yet we don't always practice it. So this is to help you, and it's actually self-nurturing and actually caring for others. So it gives you the capacity to say, hey, let me just make sure communicate this, right? I am in a space where I need to kind of just get myself together so that I can be here for you. This is, to me, why self-care is so important. How many times have we just shown up because we're obliged to do it? We feel like we're obligated to do it. And then we find that we're really not delivering the truth of the best of ourselves. This allows us to communicate the fact that, hey, I'm not 100% right now. I need to just kind of go within, get myself centered. But when I do that, I want to be here to assist you. It kind of puts it in a different place instead of just no, right? Instead of like, get out of my space, I can't deal with you. It really assists to, again, it's assisting with communication to others without friction. So that's why this is really good for that. Also, what was the other thing? It focuses up. So actually, from a physical standpoint, it focuses on finding out what the cause of dis-ease is. So if there's some sort of dis-ease, for those of you who follow this practice, there's typically an emotional cause to it. There's typically another correlation in the body, that patterning that has been tied to this disease. And that doesn't mean it's caused it. It's just as far as a proliferation of it. If we can tap into what is patterning that proliferation, we can therefore sever that continuation of it and move forward. But there's processes and mechanisms that we need to have in place in order for that to happen. But this actually assists in us doing that. So let's see what else. It facilitates flexibility of movement. It detects and rebalances blockages in the body. Again, when we're looking to figure out what the cause of disease is, there's typically a blockage. A lot of times it's correlated with fear. So this will help you kind of get to the root of what that is. And from a physical standpoint, it's an excellent, like for reflexology or acupressure tool. I don't have one right now, but they have some that are kind of more pointed. They have a little curve on the front of it, and they're excellent for acupressure tools. And for me, it's just a wonderful hand comforter. Like it just sits in your palm if you can have a palm size. For any of those who are looking to get one, you're looking at these big eggs or you want to get a big piece. If it's your first piece of what is it called? Septarian. If it's your first piece of Septarian, I would get something that you can hold in your hand comfortably, and just let the energy kind of sit in your hand. It's just something about being able to completely cover it up and allow that. It just feels so good in your hand, even holding it right now. Now I've got one in each hand and I'm like in la la land. Okay. So that is that. So we've covered that. Let's talk about higher, deeper, and wider. Now, this is what came through from Spirit when I was putting this together, or I got this download, I should say, that each day to go into the concept of higher, deeper, and wider. What does that mean? So when we basically think of the word higher, we typically correlate that to a hierarchy, things that are higher in value, higher in nature, higher in priority, and so higher vibrations, right? And so Spirit was like, okay, it's good that you get that. However, going forward and going deeper into this understanding of it, instead of just focusing on the word higher, contemplate the term release and ask the question, what can be released so that more may be revealed? So in order to get into this higher aspect, this higher vibration, right? In order to get there, we're asking the question, what can be released so that more may be revealed? And so where Septarian really comes in handy here is that it's allowing us to see what it is that is tying us down, to see what it is that is keeping us from moving forward. And so when we ask what can be released so that more may be revealed, and we're holding the Septarian in deep meditation or just kind of asking our guides to assist with that, it's amazing what beautiful truth will come through. And it gives you the opportunity to really step into that higher vibration, to get from that higher perspective, to take the high road, etc. Right? So that's what it's asking from that. And that's how Septarian can assist that. From a deeper perspective, so we talked about higher and we want to go higher, deeper, wider. From a deeper perspective, Spirit says, let's look into the concept of rooted. Instead of just thinking about deeper, when we talk about lower, some people think about deeper as lower. And it's saying, well, let's instead look at the concept of the word, consider the word rooted, and ask what truth is calling for deeper embodiment. What truth right now is for me to get some water. Hold on a second. Yes, I'm moving. Lots of energy these days, so just needing my drink of water. So looking deeper into the meaning of life, what these crystals can offer us, it says, go root, think of the concept of rooted. What truth with a capital T is calling for deeper embodiment? So what is it that maybe we've gotten a download from that higher perspective? Maybe we figured out what we needed to release, right? Maybe we did that first practice of releasing from the higher to get to that higher perspective. And we get these beautiful downloads of information, but yet maybe we're not embodying it. We're not integrating that truth, right? So when we talk about deeper, it's instead asking what truth is calling for deeper embodiment? What is it that I know to be true, but I may not be practicing? What is it that I need to do? So again, Septarian assists in having that feeling of security, having that feeling of being protected. For when we feel protected, we're more willing to take on the things that we may have a little bit of fear around, right? If we feel like we're protected, if we feel like all is well, then we're more likely to dig a little bit deeper, to get rooted into some of these truths that we may have been shoving aside. Because reality is the things that we're not really embodying, the things that we're kind of checking out of, are because there's some either fear or resistance locked in there. So when we go into deeper, Septarian can actually help you root in what truth is calling for deeper embodiment and feel safe enough to know that that information can come through and that you're strong enough to move forward with it, okay? Okay, so that was higher, deeper, and wider. So wider, excuse me, when we're talking about wider, Spirit's asking us to consider the word inclusion. And the question that we would be asking is, what opening wants to occur in order to assist with my spiritual expansion and ascension? This is a little bit longer, so let me go into this. When we think about the concept of wider, typically, we're thinking of like looking at a wider perspective. We're still considering that from the human aspect of ourselves, right? So instead it's saying, let's look at the concept of inclusion. What can be included in my life that I have maybe been excluding because I don't want to deal with it? Similar to the concept of deeper, like what truth is calling for deeper embodiment. This is a little bit of a wider perspective, saying, okay, now that I know what truth wants to come forward, kind of like, how do I do that? And how we do that is by allowing an opening to come within us. And this opening, this open-mindedness, this open-heartedness will usually send us to go into areas that we have been pushing away from our existence. So what are the things that we have been excluding from this little bubble that we've created in our lives? What opening wants to occur so that my spiritual expansion and ascension can move forward? I can expand even more than I already have. And when we're looking at something from the physical eyes, we only have a particular width of perspective that we can use. Even in our peripheral vision, it only goes so far. But when we go into this inclusive mentality, we're looking wider, but from a more expansive experience, then we can see the things that we have been locking outside of our little bubble and allow that to come in and really make some change in our lives. So Septarian, again, can assist us with that. With number one, expanding our perception, our field of perception. When we tap into these different aspects of ourselves, these higher aspects of ourselves, when we tap into that, it actually allows us to see differently, to see more. And when we can see more, which is what Septarian literally does, when we can see more, it allows that information to come in with less resistance. It allows for forward movement. And then we have spiritual expansion and ascension. So that's how Septarian kind of assists with these three concepts. So higher, deeper, and wider. That is what it wants to reveal to you all. So let me show you a couple of pictures too to give you some more codes. Let me get the screen sharing back out of here. Let's do it again. And we'll pick up on, okay. We'll look deeper into the Septarian egg first. As you can see here, right? So this is the, you'll see the white, the little kind of formation of either calcite or dolomite. To me, it kind of looks like dolomite, but it's difficult to tell, white dolomite. But it could be calcite, I have no idea. I'm not gonna act like I know on that, I have no idea. But then we've got the druzy of the aragonite and the black around it. So I just wanted you to be able to see into that egg a little bit more. And then let me pull though, you saw in that first picture, I shared, there was a little something wanted to reveal itself, right? A little flash. And I think it's this one. So look at that, let me blow this up. Sorry, I'm like looking around the phone to find it. Oops. Look at that. Can you see this beautiful rainbow? Could also almost be said to look like a little dragon, but it's just got this beautiful array of rainbow when the lights hit it. So there's some beautiful codes in that for you. I will just actually leave that up for you guys as I kind of move forward here. I mean, look at that. So cool. Yeah, I geek out on this stuff. Sorry, I love them. I think they're cool. Okay. So speaking of dragons, I wanted to bring to light a couple of things. We have been, I've been mentioning the elementals that are correlated with each of these stones. So earth, wind, fire, and earth, wind, fire, water. Yeah, earth, wind, fire, and water. And then also spirit. I've seen it referred to as storm energy, but I think because they didn't want to use the word spirit, I have no problem with that word spirit. So if you don't like that word spirit, you can use any word interchangeably that you like to. But the concept that earth, wind, fire, and water are the more earth elements, and that spirit, when it comes in, is kind of balancing all those elements. So there are some stones that are correlated with each of those different elements, sometimes one or two of them. And then those that are correlated with the spirit energy. And when spirit is the reigning energy of that stone, spirit actually comes in because all the other elements are present in that stone. And spirit serves as the balancer to kind of balance out what is, in my experience, it balances out which of the elements your body needs at that time. As well, but there's many different definitions as to what that literally means. So I just wanted to recognize that, or bring to light, that we have been covering much of the wind and spirit, mostly wind and spirit. We've only had one day of fire energy and one day of water energy. And today is the first day that we actually have earth energy. So what that means, and I will actually talk about the details of the different elements at a later time because we have so much to cover today. So I'll try and do that tomorrow. But just for now, what you can know is that the wind energy is more in tune with the aspects of the mental. Okay, so getting the mind to be open to connect to spirit. Right, we have so many formulas in our head that we're trying to analyze, and we forget about the connection with spirit. So the wind energy is that breath of Gaia, which is earth, but it also allows us to kind of clarify what's going on from the mental standpoint. So we've been dealing with a lot of wind energy and also spirit energy. Again, that balancing, right? So what that says to me is that the reason this flow has been going in this manner is to get us kind of entrained to this connection to spirit, getting into a regular habit of connecting to that infinite wisdom, and almost like making it a practice. If we do this every day, 21 days of a habit, it becomes a habit pretty much. So this is a little bit in these first couple of days that we've had so far, now we're on day 9, has been around getting us in the mind to open up and connect with that higher aspect of ourselves. So today, though, the Septarian stone is actually all of the elements and spirit. The reason that is because this is not an individual stone. Like I mentioned, it's that calcite physically has aragonite and the other dolomite, etc. And each of those have their own contribution here. And we literally, in this stone, have all elements covered. And then we also have, and also water is in there because of the way that it is created. And then also aragonite in itself, the really dark brown one, is actually a spirit energy. So that's that balancer that's coming in and balancing all these. So this is the first time we have specifically earth in our series of crystals that we've done. And we have one other day of earth energy. And I'm not going to get into why that is, but I'm just clarifying that there is a beautiful flow to this. There's a beautiful intelligence outside of anything that I could have created. So just confirming that this is coming from source. And I'm excited about this. Okay, dragons. What is dragon energy? So dragon energy, I get all excited when I talk about it. Dragon energy is fierce. It's the fierceness within us that comes forth during certain times. And right now, the dragon energy, and again, some people experience it with a literal image of a dragon in their head. You've seen some cultures refer to dragons as fire breathing, you know, and very, what do you call, respected, if you will, energetically as well, the dragon energy in many cultures. So this isn't new. They are not new. They've been here since the beginning of time. But the concept of dragon energy is that tapping into the fierceness that needs to come forward sometimes when we are not taking, maybe we're not taking action, or if we're in a situation where we're feeling victimized, which none of us are victims. When we tap into that higher aspect of ourselves, we are never victims. But sometimes the holographic world that we're living in makes us believe that we are victims, that we can't take care of ourselves. So we call forth this fierceness. There's so many words beyond fierce, but I even want to go into the concept of fierce, right? There are negative connotations even to that word. The other day I talked about the negative connotations to the word magic. I love that word. And am I doing some crazy stuff out there? No, I just know that word has had negative connotations because of the bias from when it was created, this kind of colonial experience where they were trying to detract from any of this kind of outside of societal norms. Anything that was deemed outside of societal norms was vilified. And so this dragon concept, this dragon energy, is the same thing. We have images of fire-breathing dragons when in some circumstances, that fire energy needs to reveal itself, right? We need to kind of establish ourselves to a certain extent. Now, the fire energy, again, and let me kind of give you a breakdown. It's a form of etheric energy. This is just the best definition. You won't really be able to find an actual definition on it, even for those cultures who utilize the actual dragons themselves. There's still a lot of misinterpretation or just interpretation. I don't think there's really a right or wrong to this. But it is a form of etheric energy by my experience, okay, that is intense. So we're tuning into intensity, focus, right? Getting something done. And it is gargantuan by nature. So I'm not even talking about the physical, seeing a physical dragon. I'm talking about the experience of intensity and bringing that energy up from within us so that we can step into our own sovereignty. Again, these are all just templated reminders of that which exists within us. And back to the concept of like even higher, deeper, wider, when we were talking about getting rooted, what truth is calling for deeper embodiment and what is it that we're not kind of allowing into our field? This is a great example of something that has had a name and a correlation to it that most people are kind of shutting out of their existence. The beauty of what dragon energy can, or the concept of dragon energy, or the template of it, dragon energy can bring, is that it brings forth the capacity to step into that sovereign being. Now, keep in mind, it is possible for people to utilize this aspect in a not so serving way, right? We've experienced this. We've experienced fierceness being volatile and violent. So, and while there are times when that is actually going to come into play, when we tap into our sovereignty, when we tap into this knowingness, this confidence of knowing that all is well, and this dragon energy comes through from that space, we allow that to flow through us. Now it's a productive energy. Now it's a situation where we're focusing our intentions, and the dragon energy allows us to kind of move forward with action and with purpose. And I've noticed that, it's actually disseminations of information coming from the angelics. We have representations and connotations to ascended masters with the dragon energy. Like we've seen that even in the stories about Yeshua. You saw some of that dragon energy come when he's in the temple and he's throwing things all around, right? It is a fierceness that even in that seemingly not so great experience of Yeshua, of Jesus throwing the tables in the temple and causing havoc, there was a lesson to be learned there. And the only way he could communicate to this group of people was to allow that fierce energy to come through. Now, I'm sure he wasn't calling a dragon, and I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying that this is the type of template that we have at our beck and call. And when we call about this, you can, if you put a name to it and something to actually call it, you can call upon it to assist you when needed. And this is where a lot of people are tapping into this dragon energy. So again, it's intense energy. It is an ethereal by nature. So it's definitely the highest power, if you will, one of the highest expressions of source, right? But it's when you compare it to an angelic experience, an interaction with the angelics, the angelics have more of a light feeling, more of an intuitive experience, right? That's coming through, and wisdom is coming through. But what the dragon energy allows us to do is kind of integrate, embody, and root and act. And this is why we are here on Earth. We can study every book every sacred book in the world. But if we don't understand how to apply it in our day-to-day life, if we don't actually practice it, then all that stuff leaves this brain of ours, and we're actually not even moving forward. So what this dragon energy actually allows us to do is take that wisdom, embody it, integrate it in the body, and move forward with it in a trajectory towards that which serves the greatest and highest good. This is how I tap into dragon energy. This is how I utilize them. That said, like I mentioned before, there are actually other aspects of the dragon energy that are used in a not so great way, right? And if we understand that it is all within the spectrum, our spectrum, our peripheral vision from an ethereal space, right? And we're stepping out of the body and actually looking at the truth of who we are, the real source of us, our true essence. When we're looking from the eyes of our true essence, we begin to see these lower in number vibrations, you will talk about even these higher density things, these things that bring us down, these things that are heavier, these experiences that are traumatic, right? And many times, again, I talk about the concept of just shoving them out of our existence. We can look at those things, though, when we are connected to our sovereignty, when we're tapped into this even dragon energy, we can look with confidence at all aspects of the spectrum. We can look at all aspects of the rainbow, and even the ones that we don't see with our human eyes and that seem really, really dark and completely just heavy. That doesn't mean we live from that place. That doesn't mean that we start taking action from that place. But when we are in that space of the observer and observing our experience, now we can actually look at these harder to look at things and see them for what they are and allow them to transmute and raise into higher vibrations. But if we refuse to look at them, and this is just something I'm really, really passionate about, if we refuse to look at these things, if we have secrets, if we have things we're not revealing because we're fearful of whatever people might think of us or whatever that the problem is, we are resisting not only that experience, we are resisting the lesson that is trying to be delivered to our existence, if something is in your field, especially if it is repeating itself, please know that there is a lesson in there for you. And until you actually open your eye, all of them, your eyes from every perspective, and really look deep into the situation, it's going to keep coming back, and you're going to lose more and more control over how it reveals itself to you. So the beauty of the dragon energy, the concept of the dragon templated energy, should you choose to tap into that, is that it allows you to tap into that fierceness of knowingness that you are whole and complete exactly as you are. You are a individualized expression of God's creation, and that the fuller that you express in your truth, the fuller you express in that wholeness that you are, the more joyous Source is, the more joyous God is. You're literally following through with what you have been created to do. And it makes it makes a spirit, Source, nothing else can make it happier than to see it fully express as you. So, so basically, like I said, those are the kind of basics about it, but this is the fierceness archetype. And I would just open up and suggest that, ask your guides, those archetypes that you tune into, to be with you. If you're not feeling comfortable with tapping into that concept of the dragon energy, ask them. And if you don't want to use that term, maybe ask them, what is the fierceness within me that wants to come forward, and how can I do it to serve the greater good? Especially if you have not been typically tapping into that aspect of yourself. Some people resist their fierceness because they understand the power that they have, and there's a fear that they will over deliver from the fierce response. Like there's a fear of, like, I might do damage if I step into that. But Septarian, the stone, the dragon stone, is here to remind you that when you connect to that beautiful essence of yourself, when you connect into that true sovereign being that you are, and you bring in the dragon energy, that fierceness through there, powerful shift can happen in your life. And right now, the dragon energy is really, really being called forward, because we're having to do massive shift in a short amount of time, and we got to get to business. And this is what the dragon energy brings forth. This is what the dragon tribes actually bring forth. So hopefully that explains a little bit about it. This is the dragon stone. I've been feeling their energy come through there and wanting to be revealed. I literally think that that's probably like a cute little dragon reflection trying to come through and say, hello, I'm here. It's just, if we can tap into that and utilize the energy properly, right? We don't want to do this when we are not connected. We don't want to tap into this fierceness when we are feeling angry or frustrated or any of that kind of stuff. Because then, yes, we don't want to be expressing that stuff in a bad way, but there is a capacity for you that you have to be able to tap into that fierceness and be super productive with it. And it is supported by the ethers. It is supported by that experience. So hopefully that serves you. Hopefully it resonated with you. And I always say, that which doesn't, which resonates, relish in that which resonates, and release that which doesn't. If it, is talking to you, go for it. Look into it deeply. I'm always excited to talk more about any of these aspects. So if you have questions, just text me or send me a little message, and I'd be grateful to talk to you about it. And if it doesn't, let it go, and know that the codes that were supposed to come through you shall come through you. Whatever is for you to receive, you will receive that which you are open to receive. So that's all my intention is. So I got in within the hour, so we're going to go a little bit over so I can do the meditation, but we did pretty good today. So we covered a lot. I do want to go into the elements, the different elements that I covered on each of these stones, but I will save that for tomorrow. Tomorrow is a powerful day. The reason that I believe that this dragon stone was chosen for today was for those of you who are ready to tap into that fierce energy. Now would be the time to allow it to come through. Tap into your sovereign nature, which through this meditation, I'm going to instill that in you tonight. We're going to tap into that sovereignty, clearing out anything that might alter any of that. And we're going to bring that fierceness forward, because tomorrow we talk about the winter solstice. There's so many things attached to what 1221 is, and all this interesting energetics around it. And understand that we create our own reality. So the collective is creating an entire dialogue and narrative around what tomorrow is. So what we're here to do with this dragon fierce energy is to make sure that our experience, our individual experience around tomorrow is protected, is whole, that we are tapped into our sovereignty, and then to be the example of peace, love, joy, and highest light, and calling forth that highest aspect of ourselves in our exchanges with anyone tomorrow, and any day for that matter, right? It's all game. So you're going to see a lot of things on Facebook and people talking about it and references to what it means in the stars and all that stuff. And there is very much beautiful information out there about tomorrow. It's a powerful day, powerful day. On that note too, we're just getting ready to have tomorrow's stone is probably the one, they talk about if you could only take one crystal with you on a deserted island or something, what's the one that you would take? Tomorrow's stone is that stone, and it's easily accessible. It's one of the most powerful clearing stones out there, and it makes sense to me why it was chosen for tomorrow. These were all selected ahead of time. I am not selecting them by the day. This list was given to me, and I am just following the order. So to me, I find it's very divinely guided that we're having this one today to kind of empower us, check us into our fierce energy. And then tomorrow, we're just going to do a powerful clearing and any remnants for whatever was happening during the day, and then pick up on all the beautiful light that was transmitted throughout the day. And we're just going to close out your day tomorrow with a beautiful clearing as well. So let's get into meditation. And if you all can just sit back, relax, and while we're kind of getting ready here, I would just ask you to tap into what is the fierce aspect of yourself that you might not be expressing yet. What is the aspect of the dragon energy that's been wanting to come through that maybe has been held back? And why has it been held back? You don't need all the answers to any of this. Just kind of like get that moving into your mental right now. And ask your guides, whoever it is that your avatar is, to allow this information to come to the surface and be revealed to you, right? To allow these truths to come to your forwardness, to come forward in your consciousness so that you can respond, act, and move forward in your spiritual expansion. So just think about that and get comfortable. We're going to go in. We're taking a deep, deep breath. Exhaling out all that does not serve us. Take another deep breath, inhaling all that is the highest and greatest good. Inhaling. Releasing all that is not. Take one more deep breath of the sovereignty and the truth that you are. Integrating it into your body. Releasing anything that would block us from that experience. I'm so grateful for the beautiful energies, archetypes, archangels, ascended masters, beautiful dragon energy, all that has come forth to serve the highest and greatest good. So grateful. And recognizing the highest aspect of everyone here who is in this call for only the highest love and light, only the highest truth can exist in this sacred space. Anything less than that is sent back to source, raised to its highest vibration, and instantly transmuted into love. And tapping in to that highest aspect of ourselves. a remembrance of who we are. And just allowing the beautiful energies of all these powerful celestials that are coming in to assist, to support, to protect. From this state of gratitude, we're allowing this beautiful energy of the brightest light to come in through our crown, the top of our heads, creating a beautiful vortex of light, every color of the spectrum. Just a whirlwind of cleansing and clearing energy. There's such fervor as the momentum gets moving. Fervor of intention, of purity, peace, love. A strength, an impenetrable strength, that which is within you. This rainbow, metallic, spectacular vortex is just moving down and through the body, touching upon each of our energy centers at whatever pace is perfect for each individual. With the intention of touching through and clearing behind the third eye, all aspects, all dimensions, throat, the higher heart, the heart, solar plexus, navel, the sacral. We're going all the way down into the earth. And as we tap into the earth, we are reminded once again of all the different elements. The energy of fire, the energy of water, the air, and of course the soil of the earth. Each of these elements affecting the physical body, our spiritual body, our mental and emotional body, in its own way, specifically unique to every individual. A beautiful balance of each of these elements is revealing itself. Allowing that energy to just flow through the body, through into the earth. And expanding out, pouring over and around our field. Cleansing and purifying anything and everything that comes into its wake. Hmm. From this place of balance, from this beautiful place of balance, we allow this fierceness to come through. Show us what it is that's been wanting to be expressed more fully. Running through the filters in our mind of in the corners, things we may have attempted to hide from our consciousness. Allowing this dragon energy to come and dust off the corners. Show us what is hidden there. What is hidden in the corners of our minds that we may even have some fear around revealing. And maybe if we're having difficulty even looking in those corners, the dragon energy is here to remind us that we are safe, we are protected, and we are sovereign. And we look a little deeper. What is in that corner? What is it? What is it that wants to come forth? And how does it want to serve the greater good? By us allowing this aspect of ourselves to come forward, how will it serve the greater good? For when we have that intention to serve the greater good, legions of angels, archangels, celestials, ascended masters instantly come to our call. For this is their mission as well, to serve the greater good. And with this fierce dragon energy behind us and feeling like we have an army right behind us, and no matter what we do, we are supported. We know we can engage and allow for this truth to come forward. This thing that we have maybe even had some fear around. From this place of protectedness, what is there to fear? If God's Spirit is for us, who could or what could possibly be against? As we get a little bit more detail about what this is, we realize we can reach out and hold it in our hand. That thing that we were so afraid of. That thing that we just knew was going to be too hard to take care of, to deal with. It's literally in the palm of our hand, waiting for us to decide what we want to do with it. Suddenly it seems like such a small thing. Suddenly it doesn't seem so overwhelming. It is simply an idea, simply a memory, a thought. It has no power over us. But if there is still some fear, some remnants of fear existing, ask your guides, ask that dragon energy to step forward to assist in what is to come next. And then listen deeply. Some of you may actually hear what comes next. Others may not want to hear it. It's okay. To set the intention that the revelation shall come, and that you will be guided in whatever direction it is to take, whatever action needs to be taken, whatever action is appropriate for you. Now gather your energy and your awareness and rest it in your heart center, where the heart and your solar plexus. We are going to integrate that manifesting aspect of ourselves with the heart. Activate our power center, this true sovereign being that you are. We're turning on the light from within. And if it was already there, if you already saw it, that's great. We're blowing it up a little bit more, giving it some extra amperage, allowing that fierce energy to come through. For in this connected state, in this centered place, you are an impenetrable source and force to be reckoned with. Impenetrable source of light, impenetrable force to be reckoned with. And from this fierce state, all that exudes is the deepest and highest and widest understanding of love, peace, joy. From this fierce energy exudes and overflows with a deep self-love. So much so that when it flows out of you, all of those who are in its field feel that self-love for themselves and spread it to others as well. As that beautiful vortex of light is running up, down, through, and throughout your entire body, clearing anything that would block you from the fullest expression of who you are. Envisioning the magnificent show that it puts on. Rainbows everywhere, clearing out anything in its field. Inviting an expansion from within and without. Up-leveling your spiritual evolution. You are a powerful being, a powerful source of love, a fierce lover of life. You may feel that fierce lover of life. Feel that at a cellular level. Feel that integrate throughout your entire body. This is what the dragon energy has to offer. You have the option to tap into it or not at any given moment. Your sovereignty always exists and you always have access to it, regardless of what you call it. You are whole, perfect, and complete, exactly as you are. Deep gratitude for all of the beautiful angelics, ancestors, ancients, ascended masters who have come to facilitate this exercise in true, deep love. As this beautiful rainbow vortex exits the body to express in its purest form, feel into the remnants of the beautiful peace that it leaves behind as a gift for you. And at your own pace, tap into the beautiful gift of life, this body that you are physically in. Bring your awareness back into your body. Feel your fingers, your toes. Gently rest. Open your eyes whenever you see you would like to. And welcome back. Welcome back. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today. This has been such a beautiful journey for me, I will say that. And just so grateful for all of you. You got a powerful day tomorrow coming. And I'm excited to go through this with all of you. And please feel free to message me with any questions, especially today. We covered quite a bit. So if there's anything that you have some questions or concerns about, please feel free to communicate with me. Whew. Feeling that in the crown. But welcome everyone, and thank you again for sharing this experience with me. I will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. The replays are right now will be available on YouTube. They'll actually be available on Facebook and Instagram, but this particular broadcast will quickly be available on Facebook and YouTube. For those of you on Instagram, I will be downloading these. It just may be a couple days off because it's a pretty intense procedure to do that. So again, thank you so much. Welcome to the world of the dragon energy. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Peace and blessings all. Bye-bye.